All right, what's up, team? I just want to do a quick video this morning on where an environment's at. How do you know if you want to be involved in that environment? If there's possibly been some extension, if you feel like the move's a little bit extended, and how you should think about being involved versus staying out versus missing the move, and just how you make sense of that in your head. So I'm just going to go through how I think of it and how I kind of gauge whether I want to be involved. And to do that, I look at the leaders of the last couple months. Who or what stocks and companies have pulled us out of those late March, April lows. This big move of recent memory, what stocks pulled us out of it? Those are going to be my leaders. Those are going to be my gauge on if I want to continue to be involved. So what I do is I go to FinViz, and also, I'm sure you just kind of have an idea of what the leaders are just from being involved in markets and following, but this is a good way to actually do it on paper as well. So I filter by market cap. I look at the over $10 billion larger caps just because I want an idea of the bigger movers and how I can utilize those to see if the leaders continue to lead. So what I do after I just filter by that market cap, just one simple filter, I go from the overview tab where it typically starts over to this performance tab on FinViz. You can filter it by quarter, you can filter it by month, week, whatever you're looking for. I chose to filter it by quarter in terms of who is leading by percentage gain and how are those leaders acting in the current market. So one leader that pops into my head, first and foremost, that kind of has been the focal point for a lot of different people is Intel. So it has the government ties, the Trump narrative, the semiconductor thematic strength. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the Intel chart, and what I'm looking for here, as you can see, Intel, huge move off those late March lows, almost 200%. And then we had a little bit of flagging and consolidation and digestion. I use the word digestion, which is super important here because this is digestion and not distribution, right? Digestion is a 20-ish% move on a 200% move. That's healthy, that's clean, that's ready for the next leg. Distribution would have been a high volume kind of blow off looking wicked candle to the upside that's been shut right back down, and we aren't seeing that. We see our move up, we see our clean curl, dips being bought, digestive move, and we see a secondary push up, and I think a second extension is coming. But overall, this gives me an idea that the leaders are still leading. The leaders that brought us out from the bottom are continuing to act as the strongest names, and that gives me confidence as a trader that the market is going to continue to push higher if the leaders are doing so. But I don't want to just look at one stock. I want to get a bigger picture of the leadership. So looking at a different name and maybe a different theme, and that would be SNDK. Kind of the memory theme has some similar ties to Intel, but this will also give us a more well-rounded idea of the leadership. So SanDisk, almost a 200% move with, again, roughly 20% digestion. So again, you see the flagging, you see the consolidation at highs or close to highs, you see the curl now, and we get a move up here today, which tells me leaders, again, are continuing to lead. Last one, AMD, same thing. We see our big move here, almost 150%. And we see off the highs, almost 15%. Notice how it's about 10% of the move gets pulled back. We see this curl. We see a digestion, not distribution. We see a move start to move higher here. And again, we aren't looking at these specifically to potentially trade. We could get involved with them as a trade, but in this context, I'm looking at these as my leadership gauge. The strongest stocks are continuing to lead and not fall off. I am comfortable being involved with more speculative names, more growth names, more trading in general, more market participation, because I see these leaders continue to lead. And if they begin to fall off, then I'm going to take some off the table, become a little bit more cautious. But this is a really good way to use the leaders and think about how leadership has an effect on the overall market and my trading participation personally and what kind of environment we are in. So I hope this helps. I'll keep these coming. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks, guys.